Welcome, fight fans, to the Fighters Boys Kick-Ass Podcast.
Your Fight Talk Authority.
Not to mention the most entertaining and talked about podcast with your kick-ass host, Richard Ortiz.
You mad? Come at me, bro.
And his loyal kick-ass co-host, Senor Cole Escobedo.
Streaming live and worldwide.
Coming to you all the way live from a little place somewhere in Cali. The Fighters Boys Kick-Ass Podcast.
Fresno, California. We're live here in Mad Production Studios. We got a great show for you today. First of all, I want to thank all the emails I got today with questionnaire. I want to thank all the text messages I got asking questions, and I gave my phone number out to certain people so they can ask questions. Well, I'll go ahead and shoot away. The wait is over. We're going to go over a few things. We're going to do a recap on last Saturday's Top Rank Boxing. We had Jamal Herring. Is it Jamal or is it Jermaine? Jamal. I was chopping up his name all day long. Jamal Herring, and also Gabriel Flores Jr. They were victorious in their match Saturday. It was a crazy event. It was a fun-filled event, and if you missed that ring walk, you missed probably the best ring walk in boxing. We'd have to put Naseem Hamed second. So if you're a boxing guru, you remember Naseem Hamed, where I was put on a show as well. But we put on a show and stole the show. Everybody enjoyed it. They were talking about it. Rick Marion did it once again. Continues to flip the script and outdo himself. But you know what? None of this would be possible without the fans, the viewers, and all the supporters. Enough said. Ladies and gentlemen, we have with us the WBC, the WBO Unified Super Lightweight Champion of the World from Avenal, California. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jose Ramirez. Welcome to the show, Jose.
Thank you, Richard.
Man, you look good, man, rocking that polo.
Yeah, man, just hanging out, just chilling at the house, just being a dad, bro. Just taking care of my son, and that's it, man, doing father duty. So I got 1 more week before I go back to training camp, so.
Okay. Yeah. So you're going back. That's actually, it's kind of early, no?
It's early, yeah, but I got.
You want to be on schedule.
Exactly. I got surgery on my thumb after my last fight, so I gotta go make sure that it's working well and that I feel good.
And where it needs to be.
Exactly, yeah. Okay.
So how are the duties of a father? How's it changed your life? Let's talk about that. Because I remember you told me one time, you go, that's my little man.
Yeah, I see, now I have like a bigger responsibility besides myself. Now I got someone waiting for me at home. So it's so it disciplines me, it builds character for sure. And it makes me respect my father as a son and just respect life overall, Now I have someone that's looking up to me, so I got to make sure I behave and I do everything the right way, as best as I can,
Hey, man, you can only do with what's in front of you and make the best decisions, and so far you have. I mean, you have a lot of people that follow you, look up to you, not just as a champion, but outside of the ring, and you have a big responsibility. I noticed that because I went to an awards banquets, and I started to realize you have a huge responsibility. And I remember in one of your speeches, you said, my only fear is losing my titles, because with a title, I have more power and I have a stronger voice. And I'm able to make things happen in a positive way with those bouts.
Yeah, so, as what I referred was to, I don't want people losing their hope, and I feel like in the Valley, I've been the leader, I've been the guy taking the first step, and I feel like I have a big, army behind me, and that's the people in the Valley, so I feel like if my titles are stripped away, if I lose my titles, I feel like, their hope is going to, they might lose their hope a little bit. And I hope not, and I hope they continue, fighting forward with the same comfortable feeling that they might have, knowing that they have a champion in front of them. So I feel like I had that responsibility in me, and as much as it's not my responsibility to focus on that, but it's just, I feel it, man, and I feel it. And that's why when I'm inside that ring, I'm, most people know, and they tell me that I'm fighting for something bigger than myself, and I show it, if it comes later on in the fight, if it comes out in one of those rounds where I get punched with a good shot, and and the way I react to that punch, the way I react to adversity inside that ring, people could see that I'm fighting for something bigger than myself.
I was just about to ask you that. When you're in training and you feel like just saying like, man, I'm tired, or what pushes you? I mean, I know your son does, but what else pushes you? What else drives you at this point in your career?
I feel like I have so much to show. I really believe my skills inside the boxing ring, my will, I feel like I have the whole package, you know, and I feel like people are still waiting to see if I do or if I don't, you know, and I feel like I have a lot to prove to them, you know, that might doubt something about me, you know, and I want to be remembered as one of the best, Richard. I mean, you know, I'm unified champion of the world, and I'm the 12th unified champion in this weight class in the history of boxing. You know, that's already a huge accomplishment, but I feel like it's not even enough, you know. I feel like some people are still confused, you know, you know, and you know, at the end of the day, I want to be remembered as one of the best, you know, and if that means getting all the titles in this weight class and then moving on to another weight class and getting more titles there and then another weight class, then that's what I'll do.
You know what the sad part is in this sport, in your position? You're never going to satisfy everybody. Right. There's always going to be people out there that are critical on what you do, opinionated at what you do, and just a good old-fashioned hater. and I know you deal with that, but people are people, and deep down, they want to be you. And when it's not them or their fighter or someone around them, they want to criticize.
Right.
And you continue to make them eat their words. You continue to beat adversity, and you continue to make good on every opportunity you've had so far.
Yeah, you know, you know, like I said, I feel like I have that complete package. You know, people don't know what it takes really in this level of competition, man. And skills might look pretty, skills might look nice, the way someone stands, the way someone shadow boxes, you know. Yeah. But in this level of competition, Richard, I'm telling you, it requires something much bigger than that, much bigger than that. And when they come across a fighter like myself, you know, it's gonna be an eye opener for them and for their fans.
You know, I was going to say something because a lot of people say, man, well, he can't box. He's not slick. He's not that. And then I finally heard enough, right? And I said, he can do everything he chooses not to. That's not the style of fight you need for this performance. Right. He needs to win, not look good, not look pretty losing, or putting his chin up in the air and rolling punches with the shoulder. I mean, come on, bro. What does that really do? That doesn't do anything. Nothing. You need to block, slip, and move. You need to anticipate. You need to set traps. There's a lot going on. It's just not throwing a jab and moving to your left or to your right or moving the opposite direction or lateral movement. There's a lot going on. It's a chess match. I've seen you set traps. I've seen you take a shot just so he can get confident, bring him in, and then make him counter, where he no longer wants to throw his right hand because he felt that body shot.
Correct. You know, I made it all the way to the Olympics fighting other skillful fighters, you know, and I'm talking about 3-round fights. You know, I'm not talking about people, you know, if people think that all I could do is brawl. When somebody brawls, they're usually fighters that will win later on in the fight or will take control after the middle of the fight. You know, in this case, I'm fighting 12 rounds. So, but when you're in the amateurs, and a brawler, man, they're gonna get outboxed in those first 3 rounds. Those 3 rounds, you know, they go by so fly fast. By. And if I beat all this, you know, different skillful fighters, different style fighters, made it all the way to the top 28 in the world in the amateurs to even get my Olympic berth in the London Olympics, you know, I was able to outbox some of these guys, you know. Yeah. And especially in the amateur boxing with that computer scoring, you know, any
the white part of the glove, whatever.
Any little pitter-pat thing, they will score a point, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't even the solid shots, anything. As long as the judge thought it was like a clean shot, they scored a point, you know. And I still managed to beat these guys by 24 to 4 points, 18, and it wasn't because I was a brawler. It was because I was just outboxing them. My last fight against Hooker, who was a taller fighter, I felt like I beat him to the jab all the time. Throughout the first round, all the way to the 6th.
You close the distance on him so he can get the proper distance.
The commentating was biased, and the commentating was biased. So I'm sure people were eating up some of this commentating. You know, people that are just watching it on the telecast portion, and they're eating up.
You got to remember, they have a script.
Yeah,
and they have a script.
It was their fighter.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I'm an ESPN fighter.
Yeah.
You know, so it was their fighter. They had to support him. And which is great, you know. Yeah. But if you watch it again of those that did, if they put it like the whole fight on me, they could see who really the rhythm. I went back to my fundamentals of boxing and took my time to break them down. You know, I wasn't aggressive. I was composed throughout the whole fight. I kept closing the distance little by little, and before you knew it, I was in range to land my shots, and I think that's what I did.
Well, his corner seemed to think that he was in control the full fight leading up to that. They seemed to think that it was time for their fighter to turn it on. and you had a different approach to it, and you didn't leave it in the judge's hands.
No way.
What I wanted to ask you is, because there was slightly some, because it was his home field, how did it feel to come in there and hear a little bit of boos?
You know, I think it was I think the crowd reacted pretty positive to both fighters. I think we showed tremendous respect to each other, you know, and to each other's camps. And we're both the same type of humble champions that we don't talk too much, you know.
Yeah.
So I think the crowd reacted pretty positive to both fighters coming in. At first, you know, you could hear a little bit more of his fans than mine, but it was still like a 40-60, 40% to mine, 60% on his favor. But at the middle of the fight, it was just, you know, the fans were just happy.
How did you block all that out walking in?
I was just focused, man.
Because I was nervous for you, man. I was when I was watching it.
I just went out there and I knew I was gonna, you know, go out there and take care of business. I was well prepared. I have a great team. I have a lot of faith in myself and faith in God that I believe in, and that I pray to just give me the energy that I need, you know, to go through certain things. And you know, one of the biggest things when I do pray, one of the biggest things I say is, as long as I go in with a smile and come out with a smile, that's all I could do, you know. And by coming out with a smile, that means I left it all in the ring, you know.
Exactly.
And that's my job as a fighter, man. It's just to leave it all in the ring and do the best I could do, you know. And if that's not enough for the public or to get a win, then, you know, it happens, man. We gotta learn how to lose.
You're very blessed. There's a lot of fighters in a lifetime. They'll have maybe a Freddie Roach or maybe a Robert Garcia. You have both at one time. Yeah. You've had a Freddie Roach, and now you have Robert Garcia, which I can see, no offense to any of the other camps, this is a great fit for you. You seem comfortable, and he seems to bring out the best in Jose Ramirez. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, I mean, it's the sparring partners that you find at Robert Garcia's boxing gym. That they push him, man. Those guys are hungry, undefeated prospects, champions, former champions, Mikey Garcia, Virgil Ortiz, young Golden Boy prospects, some junior middleweight contenders. I mean, you'll find the best sparring. And if there's not enough sparring, there's always guys coming into Robert Garcia's
That's on
gym.
Thursdays, right?
That's Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays.
Oh,
Monday,
the sparring?
Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I'm sorry, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Some depends. Some guys like to spar on Tuesdays, Thursdays. Tuesdays, Thursdays. But it's always busy. You know, it's always busy with good sparring partners. And I think that's, you know, if you don't have good sparring partners, man, you know, there's only so much a coach could teach you.
Yeah, exactly. You got to demonstrate your skills and learn from them and see exactly where you're at.
Exactly. So, you know, but in this sport, you know, in any sport you do, I think if you're not coachable, man, you're gonna be stuck. You know, you have to learn how to be coachable with any coach and take everything in. You know, from Armando Mancinas, who I'm sure you met.
Yeah.
Who was my godfather, who took me all the way to the Olympics since I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
He taught me the first jab, the 1-2s, the 1-2 hooks, all my combinations, man. My style of boxing, I think, came from Armando Mancinas. All the way through the Olympics to 9-0, 10-0 as a professional. Then I went to Freddie Roach.
Yeah.
I learned a lot from him too, until I was 21-0. And now with Robert Garcia, I'm learning more. So, you know, I'm just taking everything in from all the coaches that I train.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to say something off subject that I made a vow that I would never tell you. Okay, my buddy's going to probably want to fight me after this. We did an interview backstage with you, one of your first interviews at Save Mart Center.
Okay.
And I'm looking around, I remember, I'm looking around and I'm seeing all these guys in a suit. And they said, okay, Jose's going to be with you right now. And they had a backdrop, they had everything right there. And I remember saying to myself, okay, if I can't do this interview in front of everybody, I'm looking around now, then I don't deserve to be here. I shouldn't be here then. It's an opportunity. I get to interview him, and I'm just thinking, I was just not nervous, but just kind of getting ready for it. And then I noticed when they say, okay, Jose's ready, everybody in a suit, they're all around right there. So I had to block them out. And honestly, I thought I nailed the interview. It was a great interview. I felt good everywhere that I hit. Now, here's the crazy part that I've never told anybody. We go back there, and I said, bro, I want to see that footage right there. And he said, bro, we were out of camera. Now, do I stop the interview? Out of battery. Do I stop the interview and go for it? Or what do you do? And I remember I just sat there and I said, okay. All that matters is that they saw it. And all that matters is that we did it. All that matters is they respect it because he was into the interview. Will I ever see it again? No. But I can tell that story. It really happened. Now, deep down, I was driving across and I was going, man, that was one hell of an interview, man. And we never got any footage of it. And that was my buddy, Mark Davis. And he said, I could have said, okay, stop, time out, or let me fix this. But what kind of amateur move is that?
Right.
Right. So we just rolled with it, and he didn't tell me, because then I would have, mentally thinking, okay, there's not even no freaking. It's like a camera, no film in it.
Yeah.
But the who's who that got to see it saw it.
Good,
And I
good.
remember Charles goes, hey, can I have a copy of it? And I said, yeah, I'll give you a call later. Right? We were trying to work something out. But I'm able to tell you that now because I've interviewed you several times afterwards. And it's always been an honor and a privilege to interview you. And, kind of changed it up a little bit because you're growing in the sport. I can see you growing as far as being a father, being a parent, and now being a provider. And I give you a hard time about your fruits, man, but no, I'm happy for you, man. I kind of feel like somehow, some way, a little bit of that red is kind of mine in that car because I'm a piece of you. I honestly feel that, like I told you, and I'll say it over and over again, that day you came home with the WBC belt at the airport. And I said, you're our voice piece. You can't turn it off now. I mean, we root for you. You're our Julio Cesar Chavez. You're our Paul Rodriguez. You're our George Lopez. You're any Mexicano doing anything positive. I mean, we got to be, and it's not about just Mexicans. There's blacks, there's whites, but we're few opportunity, and I'm happy for any Mexican American doing anything positive in this world, and you're making a big difference, a change, and your followers just aren't raza. It's every ethnic in this whole valley, in this whole world, man. You're touching lives, man.
No, thank you. Yeah, no, it's quite an honor for me to be in this position that I'm in. To motivate, to inspire. And boxing has really opened these doors for me to inspire and motivate people. And I think that's the beauty of it. It's a great responsibility. I'm happy to be in this position. As a champion, to inspire people, to bring faith to the community, to bring hope.
Yeah,
that's a beautiful thing. To see all those expressions. From the people, from the kids, all those positive expressions, that's something that I take in, and I guess that's like, it's a fuel for me, it's fuel for my body to go and wake up and do it again,
How does it make you feel when you're at a podium and you just see a long line of fans? They just want a piece of you, whether it's a conversation, a picture, an autograph, to touch you, smell your cologne, whatever it is. They want to go back and say, "Oh, I met Jose. He was cool. He did this. Oh no, he liked me. He gave me his attention." I mean, they go back with that because I hear it constantly.
Well, I'm just a guy from Avenal, so I could see myself through them, I could see myself being them. It's like a reflection of me. All these kids are a big reflection of me when I was their age. So I'm able to speak to them. I'm able to speak with them, like if I know them. Like if they were my neighbors from Avenal, I'm able to interact with them. It's not I don't pretend. Everything comes from the heart. So if I take my second, even my younger brother tells me all the time, "Jose, how can you be so patient, man? Everywhere we go and they stop me, and some guy wants to have like a conversation with me, I give him a very a great conversation. It's about the subject that he wants to talk about." And then my brother goes, "Jose, how can you have that patience to like go through that 3-4 minute conversation with these random guys?" And I'm like, "Listen, it just comes naturally. Like I said, I could see myself through them. I feel like we're the same, we're very similar, and I think the people feel it. I think people here in the valley, they feel it. I allow myself for them to see themselves in me too,
Yeah.
I don't block them away, I don't feel like I'm
people's champion.
I don't feel like I'm too big for anybody, I don't feel like I'm any different, Financially, I'm great. Boxing, fame, it's coming, but I don't feel any different than them, and I don't see. When I was a kid, growing up in Avenal, we all had the same. No one had too much more than the other. We all had the most basic things we can to just survive and live and have a good life. And I was happy, I was happy. I didn't feel any different. I didn't feel smaller than the guys that had more than me. And if I felt that way, which there was a couple of times that I did feel that way. I was quiet about it, but I felt there was a couple of situations in my life growing up that some other kids or some other people had more than me, financial and material stuff and opportunities, and it's not a good feeling, It's not a good feeling to feel yourself like like you're less than someone else. And that's something I would never want to put someone in that position, I would never want to put someone in that position for them to feel lesser than me. And that's something I promise, and I pray to maintain myself humble to never put someone in that position.
No, and you're doing it. You're living it. You're just not talking it. I want to talk about this a little bit. I'm going to mention a name, and tell me the first thing that comes to mind when I mention this name, and then I'm going to give you my take on it. Regis Prograis.
You know, he was a good champion. You know, just not the best at 140. You know, he was a good champion, just not the best at 140. And one fight at a time, people get to see that. You know, I'm not saying he's not going to be able to become a great champion in the future, again in the 140 or 147, if he decides to move forward in his career in a different weight class. But at this moment, you know, he came up short. You know, and it's like if you go into this tournament and in the amateurs you face the best, right? And you get into this bracket, and you know you come up short. You lose in the semifinals, and I think that's what happened. And that's what happened to him. That's what happened to Maurice Zucker. You know, and now, you know, I'm in the finals, you could say.
Yeah, I'm gonna mention another name, Josh Taylor.
That's another guy that made it to the finals, you know, and that's another guy with 2 titles, and he's the guy that stands in front of me from me becoming the undisputed champion of the world in the super lightweight division, and that's who I want to go after.
And without giving anything away, and he's on the same network as you, as the same promotion, Bud Crawford.
So Bud Crawford, he's a great fighter. I mean, he was the last one in the junior welterweight division to have all the 4 belts. He's a great champion in the welterweight division, but yeah, most definitely, I have my eyes set on this couple fights that I feel like it's only 2 more fights, 3 more fights at the most in this weight class before I start paying attention to guys like Bud Crawford. 2-3 more fights in this weight class, and it's time to move up in the welterweight division and be fighting alongside this great champions in the welterweight division, and I feel like I'll be all right, man. When the time comes, I'll be prepared.
Okay. Here's a question that was asked of me today. That was actually submitted today. It was by Jason Alexander. He emailed me. So Jason, this is your question I'm asking you. Do you think before your career is over that you'll share the ring with Bud Crawford? Yeah,
most definitely. I think it's a high possibility by far. I'm still young, man. I'm still young. I got a lot of years to go. You know, if he doesn't move up, to the junior middleweight division, then it could happen within the next 2-3 years.
2-3 years.
And that's maybe next year, man. Maybe 2021, late 2021.
Yeah.
You know, because I need one or 2 fights to settle in the welterweight division and get my chance. You know, I always believe in earning my chances. You know, earning my opportunities to face against the champion. So if I have to beat 1 or 2 guys to get my mandatory against that to fight for that world title, once I hit that welterweight division, then I'm go after those world titles, man. If it's Bud Crawford, if it's Errol Spence, anybody that has those belts, I'm going after those belts.
And here's another question. This was sent in by Donovan Bertoncini. His nickname is Bo Bertoncini. He asked, how hard of a transition was it from Freddie Roach to Robert Garcia?
At first, it's a little tense. It's a little tense because it's a whole different environment. It's a whole different ring, and you got to earn their trust. You know, I feel like I had to earn my trust, and I wanted my coach to feel comfortable with me. You know, I wanted him to feel comfortable by me showing that I'm a good fighter. You know, and so I had that responsibility to, even though Robert Garcia knew me and saw me fight, I wanted him to see it with his own eyes up close, you know, in the corner to see how badass of a fighter I am.
That's right.
Once I got my trust, man, the chemistry just kept on growing.
Was he conservative, or he just pushed, hey, let your hands go? Did he allow you to be you?
Yeah, he always has, you know.
Okay.
A coach's job is to, if you're doing something great, you know, he's gonna let you do that. You know, their job is to sharpen up some of the stuff, some of your craft. You know, so teach us some new things, but just to add to your style of boxing. You know, and that's what he did. At first, he was a little bit more, you know, quiet. You know, but now that he also earned his trust towards me, you know, he was able to be more open about certain things. You know, and he was able to work with me more comfortable. And again, at the beginning, you know, we feel a little tense because we're new to each other, you know. So he doesn't want to say too much to maybe overwhelm me or something, you know. And I don't want to look bad in front of him, you know.
No, so absolutely not.
This little tense, this little responsibility on both sides. But once that disappeared, once that tension disappeared, and we were able to, work with each other properly, and I feel like now I trust him as a coach, he trusts me as a fighter. I mean, when in the Orozco fight, when I come back in the after one of the rounds, and he goes, Jose, he's probably thinking in his mind, Jose, take your time, use the jab more, don't pace yourself, And I smile at him and I tell him, hey Robert, I'm okay, and I'm okay. I'm ready for more. I'm having a great time.
Yeah.
So that makes him feel more comfortable,
When he gets that response from his
when
fighter.
he gets that response from his fighter. So now he gets to know me and understand me as a fighter too.
The
my
fact
body
that
language,
the
and
fact
stuff like
that you responded to his comment.
and I responded with this positive expression,
Yeah.
See, that's one thing. A coach, he knows when you're having a tough time in there.
Yeah.
And
He also has a responsibility.
and it was, that was my first time fighting with Robert. So that was his first time, him being up so close in the corner with me to be able to see my body language. So once all that disappeared, and now he knows who I am as a fighter, now we work so comfortable in there.
He has complete 100% confidence in you.
And now he has a confidence.
You will unify the 140-pound division.
He knows how hard I work, man. He knows how hard I work. He knows what I do when I'm sparring. He knows my skills better than anybody.
What's harder, working out in the fields or working out in the gym?
Man, they go hand to hand, honestly.
Good
My
answer,
respects to
man.
everybody out there working hard in
Absolutely.
the fields, man, and especially in the summer when it goes up 105, 110 degrees. And working 10-hour jobs, man. My respects to all the hardworking people. There's a lot of people that wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
If they could do it for a day, they could do it for 3 days. I did it for a summer. I can't do it for 5, 7, 10 years.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's different things. I feel like not too many people get to this level of boxing, but it's not easy to go out there and be working 10-hour shifts.
No. I had an idea. It was over a year ago, and I shared it with KP, and he was all over it. He wanted to do it, and I'm bad at keeping surprises. I honestly, I really am. I mean, if I found out, I'd probably tell everybody who shot Kennedy, instead of just like letting the government explode or just let it happen. And I had this great idea. First of all, Big Al from Big Al Main Events, he gave me all these extra shirts. He goes, hey, give these out. They're Jose Ramirez shirts. And I was going to give them out too. And I said, well, they're long sleeve. I'm thinking, well, I mean, it's winter. And I said, no, they can use them in the summer because against the sun. So I had this idea, and I'm going to go ahead and share it with you. So now the pressure's on us and KP as a film director. We wanted to go out to the fields, give them to all the workers out there. In English and Spanish, they were going to look in the camera and say, hi, I'm Jose Ramirez. Even women, hi, I'm Jose Ramirez. All the way down from little kids to all the workers, and just get content of it. That's some HBO shit right there.
That's amazing, bro. That's some deep stuff.
And we plan on doing it this summer.
Yeah, that's a statement. Yeah.
I mean,
huge.
all of them, you give them the shirt, right? And all of a sudden, this is what we're putting together. We're going to give them the shirt. They're working. Get it to them when they're all full of mud, dirt, because they usually are. And keeping it real, not putting dirt on them for a stage, and just have them say English or Spanish, hi, I'm Jose Ramirez.
No, definitely.
And then
man.
all of a sudden,
That's big.
who gets out to greet him and feed him and give him water and interact with him? That was just our whole thing. That's the whole dream that we had, and that's the whole idea we
make
had.
it happen, man. We can still make it
And that's
happen.
too hard for me to text on the phone and say, hey, I got this idea. And every time I see you,
that's
it's on the go, where we keep it professional. But
we go out there and we go out there and we give away hats.
Yeah,
bandanas,
I see all that stuff.
All this, the heat awareness stuff is always big.
Oh,
It's
yes,
something
exactly.
that we're always
Water.
practicing. We're always practicing. So, my younger brother actually goes out there to the fields and gives he gives heat awareness classes to a lot of these workers, all these crews from different farmers, and that's part of the regulations, and out there working in the field. So, giving a long sleeve T-shirt. It helps them, takes them a long ways.
I will say this, shout out to my mama. She was back in the day, how she would help protest with Chavez to get restrooms out there.
Okay.
No, my mom, no, she was.
That's big, yeah. Now they must be porta potties,
No, exactly. And she was part of that demonstration, man. She was out there boycotting and fighting for that, and just, I guess there's where I get some of it from, maybe some of the attitude a little bit,
Yeah, it's good, man. It's good to be a voice,
Absolutely. I got to ask you this, man. And I've been wanting to ask you this. And I joked around with your brother. How many bottles of cologne do you have?
I don't have too many actually.
Okay, I lost that bet.
Yeah, I don't have too many. I have maybe 2, 3.
Oh, really? I really lost that bet.
2, 3, man. And I see. Once it gets to like 1/4 of the bottle, then that's when I order a new one.
Oh, okay.
So I'm never like.
Oh, okay. You're on your same.
Yeah, I'm not, and I keep the same cologne. I don't
kind of cologne.
So I use this with more perfumes, more of the oil-based perfumes. They last a long time.
Oh, okay.
You 2 sprays, and I mean you're
good to
ready,
go.
You're good to go for the next 24 hours, man. You take off your shirt the next morning, you put it on, and it still smells like the cologne. It just depends, I don't buy $10, $50, colognes, but I'll buy maybe 1 or 2 $300 perfumes.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So
there you go. They need that key to open it up.
I mean, you gotta go to certain stores, but it's those investments. It's making those different.
Absolutely.
Making those different choices. You could invest in this, and you could invest in that. And
exactly.
Sometimes you spend $40, $50, $60 on a cologne that might, it's the same size bottle, but because you spray so much, it might only last you 1/4 of the time that actually a good perfume. So it might as well go for the $200 bottle. You know what I mean? It will last you longer.
Absolutely.
But everybody's different, so.
Now, everybody's different. I'm gonna share with you a quick story. Whenever I get ready in the morning, I got to leave, whether it's to work or something. That's the right time, right? Yeah. Okay, good. Wherever I got to work, I had this thing for water. I gotta hear the sound of water. I do. So it's running. In the sink, it's running. Water. So I'm doing something, and my wife goes, "No, turn the water off. Turn the water." And this is what she said. She goes, "I'm gonna tell Jose." That's what she said. And I told her, and I remember I texted you, and I said, "Okay, well, we'll find out right now." And I kind of text you briefly, and your response was, "Hey, well, you got to be fresh." Because at the time you were doing the whole fight for water thing, remember that? And you didn't know she helped with one of your booths, and she worked with your brother, selling shirts on one of the booths back in the day.
Okay, one of the first fight for water fights.
Exactly. And I remember, because I got to hear the sound of water. I constantly, I don't know what it is. It filters everything out. It's a beautiful sound to me.
Some nature.
Yes, and it was just, water. and it was fight for water. She goes, "I'm gonna tell Jose." That's what she said. And when I said, "Well, he said you got to be fresh," she goes, "Oh, he's only saying that because he knows you."
Yeah,
or because you know him. She said,
"We gotta take care of our water, man." But overall, it's 1 or 2, small little things that we all do makes a difference.
It does.
But at the end of the day, man, we gotta storage our water.
Yeah,
if there's no storage in the valley, I mean, there's not gonna be a huge
you need it to
positive
survive.
change.
So
we need like a reservoir, man.
I went with that because you talked about freshness.
Yeah. No, we need, we need a reservoir here in the valley to storage all this water that from after the snow when it rains to store it. And because we already have the distributions, we already have canals, rivers that go all over the San Joaquin Valley, all the way to LA, and we can move the water.
You know what, Jose? If we're making a machine that creates waves to go surfboarding, why can't we have one of these reservoirs for water?
Man, I think, to go a little bit deep in some of this conspiracies behind the water, water's worth so much in California.
Yeah.
So people they're so afraid for the supply to be high. Because then the demand doesn't become as high, and the prices drop. So they get to control. If they get to control some of the water, they get to control the prices. They get to control the value of the land.
Exactly.
The people that own the most land, they buy some of these people buy the land not because of the land, but because of what's underneath the land and this water. It's water rights. That's all. It's a gold mine for a lot of people. So especially for the government. That's why. They play this role as an environmentalist, fighting against us. But it's really just more deep than that. It's really the government and the state government that wants to, keep control of the prices, keep control of some of the demand, and that's not fair, man. That's not fair because when people voted for Proposition 1, and that was the storage water for communities and farms. They were able to switch all that around to where they use that money for projects like environmental projects to control the balance of the water from the mountains to the ocean, to save fish, to save certain plants, to save overflows,
right?
because of environmental purposes.
Sure.
So all this water all these projects, all these dams that you might see,
Yeah.
most of them are just to balance the water, and they're not really for us to use and for the communities, for the real communities that
Yeah.
need it.
Yeah.
Like Los Hills, Kettleman City, Strathmore, all these real communities that need water. I mean, you go to some of these places, some of these homes, you turn on the water, it's all yellow. It's
Yeah,
all yellow. It's all
exactly,
bad.
exactly.
Contaminated water, bro.
Yeah.
We need some good storage water that everybody could use. And then some of these unions come out, that were probably hired by this government to try to divide the real communities with the farmers, saying to them, the farmers take all the water, and they're trying to divide, because when there's division, then there's no unity. So it's easier to fight against. It's easier to when there's division, it's harder to get the right things done.
Exactly.
Right. So
I agree.
there's all this different things happening, and I get to see it up close, and I just kind of like give this a sarcasm laugh, and this frustration type of smile, and they get it done. And that's what we need, storage water. Even though people tend to forget, because we're having good years of rain, and people, okay, well, it's raining, yeah, it's good, but what happens if we go through another 5-6 years of dry weather, throughout like we did from 2009 to from 2007 to 2014, 13, when we had the water drought. What happens if we go through that one more time? Then what? We're gonna go again. It's time to go fight for water. So we can't stop fighting that fight until we have a reservoir that we're gonna store the water. For both the farms and the communities.
I'm Rich Ortiz of the Fighter's Voice, and I endorse the mayor, Jose Ramirez. That's what's going to take place. Brother, this is bigger than boxing. I'm proud of you, man. Get on down. You're an educated man.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Oh, man. Okay, this is bigger than boxing, where you're going right now.
You know what's even bigger than this?
What's that? Talk to me.
Immigration, brother. Immigration.
Let's talk about it.
So we got this monetized immigration reform that it's already in Congress, getting closer to the Senate. The Senate with Senator Franstein, she's already waiting with her other Senates to endorse it. We already have over 23, 24 Democrats, 21, 22 Republicans behind it endorsing it. It's the first immigration reform since IRCA in 1986. With President Reagan passed the IRCA law for people to get their legal status to work, and that's how my dad got himself at 17 years old to be here legally in the United States by getting IRCA, by getting his legal authorization. Then later on got his permanent residence, and then later on got his citizenship. Well, we're making it happen again, and it's already in Congress. Most likely, this is the first bill of immigration reform that we all feel positive that's going to go past. Now it's up to the president. It's up to the president to sign. He's the only one that can veto.
Right now.
Right. He's the only one that's going to.
He can make it happen right now.
His administration. Yes. Once it comes to his hands, because I'm sure he's going to pass the Senate. It's going to pass through Congress. Once it gets to his hands, yes, he's the only one that could veto it or sign it, and it becomes a bill, and then people could vote on it. And once people could vote on it, I mean, this is 1.4 million people that are going to be legalized. Not just. So let me talk about this bill.
Talk to me about it.
This bill is to legalize agricultural workers, not just workers, but also their families.
Yes.
Because once they have legal status, they could also petition for their family right away for them to have legal status. Once they have legal status, in 5.5 years, or before 5.5 years, they could renew it, or they get a chance to, after 5.5 years, they could petition for their permanent residence, and then in the future, U.S. citizenship. But at least they're here legally. Yeah. With legal authorization to be here and working in the agriculture. That's 1.4 million people, bro, that are working right now, undocumented in the agriculture, and there's many millions more. But
making a difference.
Oh man, I mean, making a difference. But now, that's 1.4 million people that are going to be working with that fear factor to be split.
Exactly. Exactly.
You hear this
dividing parents, dividing families.
Exactly. Kids going to school,
actually
waiting for the
legalization of conquering families, man.
Of course. So that's. And then hopefully that opens up pathways to do some immigration with other industries. It's hard right now to do comprehensive immigration. It's too broad. It won't pass Congress. But at least finding one way, taking care of the agriculture families first, and then hopefully open up pathways to where we could also.
Those are all facts, because that's exactly where it's at. There's exactly where it ends up, and who's out there doing it, man. It's plain and simple.
Yeah, so exactly. We need those people to be here, comfortable, without that fear factor. We need, farmers, all this.
Can you imagine working stress like that? As it is,
Even for the bosses,
a 9 to 5 working, there's certain stress. But can you imagine today's the day I may have to get deported. Today's the day where I may not see my mom and dad. Today's the day where I may have to leave my family.
Listen, if one incident of like Homeland Security come into like a real community, say in Avenal, then the people in Stratford hear about it. They don't want to show up to work the next day because like 2-3 days until it calms down, and then they feel okay. You know what? Maybe I'm gonna stick my head out of the shadow and see if everything's okay. That hurts the business a lot. The boss is like, "What's my workers?" But they can't blame them.
Yeah.
But the boss is hurting because they need the people to be there. Yeah. Like I said, there's not too many people out there that could do the jobs. I don't care what people say. No. We're not. These guys are not taking. These people are not taking no one's jobs. These people are taking
There's
the
a
jobs.
certain survival out there that needs to take place.
Exactly. So this immigration right now, it's happening. It's happening. So stay tuned. If it becomes a bill, you will see in the ballot. And if your president, if our president Donald Trump does not vote, once he gets in, does not vote, then it's your job to make a decision of who becomes the president in 2012 in the 2012 elections.
Exactly, and it's right there in black and white.
Right. Yeah.
And you know what I do want to say? Anytime you want to come on here, or your brother, because your brother is very well-rounded and educated in this field, this is why the platform is here. A lot of people misinterpret when I was trying to get sponsors. They go, "Oh no, I don't do boxing, or I don't do MMA," and I said, "No, you don't understand. This whole put together," and I share with them just slightly of my story. I'm the original fighter's voice because it gives me a platform to. This is my serenity when I'm behind the microphone, so I don't jump off a cliff or stick a gun in my mouth. And I told my son I would give back. I would help people and give back. And this is what I chose to do, and this is why it's here. So you don't have to be a fighter. I mean, I have somebody that's coming on the show next week. They're fighting cancer, multiple sclerosis, and or problems. They're fighting for their marriage. Every fighter has a voice. And I'll bring them on here. I'll put a spin on it, of course. I'll say, hey, what'd you think about the Jose Ramirez fight? And now we're talking about boxing. Or what'd you think about Nate Diaz? And now we're talking about MMA. But they get to tell their story. That's their platform.
Of course, that makes sense. That's what the fighter's voice. That's what it represents. So someone fighting for something. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the only one other person that got it, she got it the very first time she came on the show, and that was Christina Potter. She just got it, and I was just whoa.
She's a great friend of mine. Yeah, she made it to. Her and her husband, I invited them to come and see me fight in Dallas. So they're always working. She's always working with top ranks, so she has to be someone neutral. This time she was cheering for me with her husband Jermaine. Okay. And so they both came out to Dallas and supported me, man. They're good people. They were just here. They actually she went to dinner with me and my friends, and she had a great time. She's a hardworking lady.
Yeah, she knows her stuff. Very
she knows her stuff, man. She's very professional.
Yeah, and I like the fact that she's come on the show twice. So she believes in the show. She could have said, "Oh no, well I'll pass" or what have you. And no, she came on here. Yeah, it makes us feel good about who's coming through the studio. And
she has so much knowledge. Yeah.
She does. She does. So does Evan. Evan's just a boxing encyclopedia. He really is.
Yeah, no, he's done great.
Let me ask you this: since the last time I saw your closet in LA in your apartment, how has it? What's your shoe game like now?
Well, that was my apartment in LA, so
I know.
That was just when I'm there for.
We have video of that a little bit of that shoe game, not completely like one-on-one.
I have a pretty decent sized closet,
What's your shoe game like, Jose? What is your shoe game like?
I am endorsed by Nike, so I get this big credit lines through the Nike website. Wow. So you could just imagine how many Nike shoes I have.
Oh wow, okay.
But yeah, I like. We like to try out different things,
Yeah.
And depending on where I find myself, we as entertainers we gotta dress the part sometimes.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I got some pretty.
You got to be marketable.
I got some pretty cool designer shoes.
What's the most expensive pair of shoes you have in your closet?
I think the most I probably paid for a shoe was about. They're all the same, pretty much similar to the prices. I mean, I have multiple shoes with the same price. I think they stay under the 2,000 mark.
The 2,000 mark?
Yeah, they stay low under the 2,000 mark.
Co Escovedo said he didn't think they went over 1,000, and we bet on the air. And I said no. He at least 1,500 is what I said
1,500
for at least one pair of shoes.
Exactly. So I have a few of those 1,500.
There you go.
Yeah.
Why not? You work hard, man.
Yeah, and some of them are boots. They're just red bottoms.
You have the tan one. Yeah,
they're just red bottom.
The red bottom. Why? Mine. My red bottoms, I
Midsize
got a spray can. You know, I just
There you
spray the
go.
bottom right
That
there.
works too, man.
Yeah, it does work.
Yeah. That's the one step closer to,
Exactly.
the feeling of having
Well, I mean,
red bottom shoes.
I'm kind of simple. You got your dream car, your red Spider, which is beautiful, which is breathtaking, which is awesome. I'm simple, man. To this day, honestly, I'll tell a quick story. I've always wanted a Corvette. So much, Luis, that I would never sit in one or test drive one. Why? Because it'll just mess with me mentally. And I feel like, how can I go to the car lot, get a Corvette when I have a mortgage?
Man, especially the new one. They're making them with
Oh my-
mid-size
oh my gosh, they're
engines
just
now.
so
The
freaking awesome, man.
The engines are in the back now on the new Corvettes.
Yeah,
I don't know if you see
the
that.
new ones. Yes,
The
yes,
new
I
ones.
did.
So
Yes,
they
they're
just
just-
look. I mean, they look like Ferraris. They look like McLarens. They look like all these exotic cars now with their mid-size engines.
How's your car running, man?
It runs great. I actually put in about 38 miles since I bought it.
Yeah?
And then I'm about to leave to camp, so it'll just be sitting there for the next 10, 12 weeks.
That's okay, man.
But I know.
Leave the keys to Luis.
I know I have it. So that's
Exactly.
that was my dream car. And as a kid,
Sure.
I remember watching some of his. I was looking over some magazines, catalogs.
Yeah.
This exotic cars catalogs, and I was in junior high, and the first car that I really liked
Yeah.
was a Ferrari Spider, and I think at that time it was a 360 Spider.
Yeah, I think it had
It was a
peanut
360.
butter inside. It
was
light
a-
brown inside, I think it was.
Well, yeah, this one was the model,
Okay.
the one that I took picture. It was like a charcoal gray.
Oh, okay.
Color with the red brakes, ceramic brakes, and I think the interior was red, and it
Just
was
poppin'.
such a beautiful car, and it was a 360. It was back. I was in junior high, so this must have been like in 2004, 2003 when I'm looking at the new 360 that was coming out. It was a new model too. At that time, it was like Ferrari was going to change it up a little bit and come out with the 360 Spider. Now I have the 488 Spider, which is the same thing, just upgrades. After so many years, it becomes the 458.
So you ordered yours, right?
And the 488. It takes about 10 months.
Okay.
10 months to get your car if you order a new one.
Yeah.
I got lucky with this car. I found it the way it was, and I liked it. It only had 400 miles on it, so it's pretty much brand new.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's 430 something.
Parking it
miles.
inside the showcase and outside, there and back, right?
That's it, man. It was
That's
a
it.
couple
Great
test
miles.
drives. Yeah, couple test
Yeah.
drives. But it runs really good. It doesn't. No car becomes a car until it hits the 500 mile mark.
Absolutely. You
Because
break
you
it
can't,
in.
you can't even like put it on sport mode.
You break
if
it
does,
in.
if it doesn't have the 500 miles.
You break it in. When I was coaching, Jose, and I'm glad you mentioned Nike. I want to refer back to that. When I was coaching baseball, I was coaching soccer, the travel with Richie and Cassandra. I would always tell the kids, okay, I tell the parents, don't go buy anything yet, okay? I said, because we're under contract with Nike, which means we have to only wear Nike. Because I wanted all the kids to wear
Nice.
Nike. And I remember one time, I don't know, somebody bought me some coaching shoes. I don't know if they were Reebok or they were something. They go, Coach, I thought we were under contract with Nike. I go, I know, but don't tell nobody. Okay, don't tell, tell the kids, we weren't under
Yeah,
contract with
of course.
Nike. I just wanted everybody to wear Nike, man.
Right,
If we had an Adidas ball, I go, no, find it out of the bag. No, I want a Nike ball okay, kick it out and then throw this ball in. Whatever it took to get it on there.
That's some loyalty stuff right there.
It was. That's hey, that's real talk though, man.
That's good, man. Michael Jordan was like that too. He was like, he would go to his friend's house and be like, hey, you know what, man? You can't have this in your closet. He would take all his clothes out and put all Jordan stuff in there.
Oh,
if
wow.
he had like Adidas or Reebok.
Well, he can come to my closet anytime.
So that was Michael Jordan, and I was reading some of his books, and
Yeah.
it's funny because the guy that gave me that book he's a friend of mine, Ryan from El Jefe, from Monterey. So he golfs a lot, and he's out there in Carmel. He emphasizes in tequila and liquor.
yeah, the slick
market.
guy with the suits all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah, nice guy. He always
so he has
says
him
hello
and his
when he
family.
comes
They have
in.
a couple liquor stores and
Yeah.
out there in Carmel and Monterey, and he started the El Jefe brand, and he goes, Jose, when are we gonna go golfing? I'm like, I don't golf, man. I never golfed, and I'll be too embarrassed to go because I'm just gonna, you're gonna be wasting your time. I've never done it before, and I'm that competitive, I can't do something if I'm not good at it. I'd rather just not do it,
Sure.
If I'm gonna do it right, just not do it. And I always had that mindset is if I'm gonna start something, I'm gonna finish it right.
Exactly. On top.
So it's funny. He goes, let's go golfing. He goes, Jose, I'll teach you. So last time we were in Monterey, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna golf with you, but what type of shoes do you wear? And he goes, I forgot what brand, and I'm like, no, I can't golf with you unless you have Nike golf shoes. So I ordered him some golf Nike shoes.
Yeah.
One pair for him, one pair for me.
When you go down there.
So then I told him, listen, now we could golf together because we got Nike golf shoes.
There you go. Hey.
And he laughed because he read the book, so he
got it, right?
He got it right away. He got the fact that what Jordan did, and that's the way you got to represent a brand. You know, you got to go all in. You got to represent the brand properly.
Absolutely, and I believe so. There's a story I wanted to tell you. Gosh, now I just lost it. Oh, yes. Okay. Now check this out. It's rare that I tell on myself, and I'm going to go ahead and tell on myself. I was stressing off work or doing different things, but I'm not going to blame stress. I'm not going to let it get the better of me, and I apologize to myself for letting myself go, so to speak. So I needed some kind of motivation. And there was this 6-week challenge at the gym, right, to see who can lose the most weight.
Right.
And I said, man, I need to get my shape back. I only got one tuxedo, and I can't button the top button and stuff and so forth. So I took the challenge, right? I got maybe 2.5 more weeks to go for that challenge where you got to weigh in. It's the day right before Thanksgiving, but I'm going to continue to go on and on. And when they're signing up, they're all signing up for it. I said, you guys are all signing up for second place. I said, because I'm winning it all. I said, I don't care about the free prize. I don't care about the two nights in Las Vegas, the free shirts, the hats, the free membership. And I told them, all I care about is winning. And I said, I'm going to win that challenge. And I said, everybody in here, they're all paying to take second place.
That's cool, man. No, you gotta have that. You know, you have to have that mindset, man.
That arrogance kind of came out when I was coaching because I knew I was the best coach out there, plain and simple, period. I would go to the championship games, Jose, the meetings, and say, what time is the championship game? They would say 2 o'clock. And I said, okay, do I need to be here? It was a coach's meeting. I said, I'll see you guys all Sunday. So I'd walk out with that arrogancy and try to win before we even played. But it was all mental.
It's all mental part. I mean, there's 2 different types of, and I think it's a little different.
I was having fun with it, though. But I am very humble, honestly.
Yeah, I think being competitive is one thing, and being arrogant is a different thing.
I needed a spark to motivate me, is what I needed.
You know, whatever works for you. If you have to be in that rhythm, that comfortable rhythm, even by speaking, even by talking, even by the movement you make, by what you wear sometimes. Yeah. You know, all that makes a difference.
Oh, absolutely. I always told the kids, you look good, you play good, you feel good, you win good. So what sports is your son going to play? He seems very active.
He's very, very active, man.
Very active.
He already did, he did baseball, literally baseball
did he?
in Clovis. Yeah, he did it last year.
Did he bat right or left?
He's right-handed.
Okay. What number did he wear?
No numbers. It was just, I mean, he was 3.5 at the time.
Oh, okay.
So
there you go.
He was just 3 years old, and so he was just finding the fundamentals of it.
Yeah.
Just hitting the ball and running to first base, from first base, second base. So there's no winning or losing, you know.
No, yeah.
But you know, he was getting better and better, and that made me feel proud. You know, as long as
good.
He was
Progressing.
And he was getting along with other kids, so that made me happy.
Oh, that's great when they your kids or anybody in general just interacts with people.
I just want him to take it slow on sports. You know, I'm not gonna be that father that pushes them to do something they might not want to do. You know, I'm not gonna be that father that wants to live through their kids. You know,
that's
because they missed out.
That's
you know?
very tough. Yeah,
and you see a lot of parents, man, like that. You know, they aggressively, you know, push your kids, and maybe that works for some. You know, but I can't see myself being that parent.
Yeah. I remember when Richie was born, and when it was 3 months and 1 day, I celebrated because I stood longer than my dad. And I said I was going to be every single thing that my dad wasn't. I mean, that every single thing that he was, I wanted to be opposite. I wanted to be better. I said, I'm going to stick around. Mm-hmm. So when it was 3 months and 1 day, I go, Mom, how long was it? She goes, 3 months. That's what she said. You know, and Mom was, at the time, she said around 3 months. So no one really knew. But in my book, okay, one more day. One was 3 months. And after 3 months, that 1 day, I was celebrating. I'm a better man than he is. I'm a better dad than he is. And, you know, some people, they'll ask me, and some people are afraid to ask. And Jose, I was born to be my son's dad. Yeah. Plain and simple, period. Yeah. No offense to my daughter. I love my daughter. She's my last breath. She's my everything. But I was born to be my son's dad.
That's great. I mean, that's a great feeling, you know, and you should take that with you, you know, and cherish it, man, and be proud of it.
I do.
Definitely.
You know, when I see you interact with your son, when I see Gabriel Flores with his son, it brings me joy. It does. Mm-hmm. It does. I mean, I don't get sad. There's moments when you know, I still want to call Richie or. Somebody gave me a shirt the other day, and they gave me 2, and I go, "Oh, Richie, I liked it." I mean, it's just so much. It's just, you know,
listen, man, you know, as long as you maintain him so close to you like that, bro. I mean, he's always gonna be alive, you know.
You're doing this interview because of him.
So Yeah.
This
no,
platform is here because of him.
That's great, man. That's good. Good to hear. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. When I see that, it brings me joy when I see these young fathers or with their kids, and I see that. I don't get jealous. I don't get upset. It brings me joy. It brings me like serenity, man.
You know, my father, he was I think he was a great father. You know, he was a great father. Taught me good ethics and morals and
Yeah.
good work ethic. He was always there for us. You know, so I never really say I can't put myself in the shoes of many out there that grew up without a father. You know.
Yeah.
And you know, and I just don't like the fact that some people use that as an excuse to not succeed, you know, and I'm glad you're not using that as an excuse to not be a better father, you know. And you continue on trying to be better, you know. And I think there's a lot of people out there that might use different moments in their lives to justify the hunger that they might not have, you know. Mm-hmm. And that's the main thing I could do as a father now is to just motivate and inspire my son and teach him the right ethics and principles, because I could give him everything else, but if I don't teach him morals and ethics, I think he'll be, you know, he will have a tough time, you know. And I worry, man. I worry every day.
That's that responsibility.
He goes to school, and I worry, and I worry that he's not just that is he gonna behave or not, but is he gonna be. Is he going to go through an experience to where, you know, he's going to be sad? Yeah. You know, and is he going to fall and trip? You know, they're so innocent at this age, man, that I just can't.
Beautiful.
I just can't see him hurt. You know, I don't think he deserves it. I don't think he's done anything wrong for him to go through any pain, you know? So I do that. I think that's the feeling I always have inside me as a father now. And when he's ringside watching me fight, you know, he's 4 years old. Yeah. Richard, but he cheers me on like no other, man. And he goes, "Go, Papi," all the time.
That's great, man.
You know, going back to this golfing, when I went to go golf with them for the first time, I threw my first swing. Yeah. And I was just like, I just need like 10 minutes. Explain to me at least. Give me 10 minutes. And
which club do I use?
Yeah, just give without the ball, just on the position and the grip of how you grip a club and all that. You know, before I swing, because if I swing, I want to make sure that ball takes off. Yeah. You know, I don't want to swing and miss the ball. You know, and embarrass myself. At least for my very first swing, I want to do it as best as I can. So give me like a 5-10 minute class. I could hear a voice. Because the whole family was there. We got the whole loft that sits on top of a country club. Yeah. It's like a 5-bedroom.
Where was this
loft.
at?
This was in by Monterey.
Oh, okay. Oh, and, beautiful out there.
And so the whole family was there.
Yeah.
My brother was there. My sister, my brother-in-law was there. My dad, my mom. Yeah. So my dad came with the guys. My brother-in-law and my dad came, and my son was there. And there's all these guys, right, from Monterey and Carmel. About to look at me do my first swing, and I just hear the only voice I hear is Mateo goes, "Go, Papi, go!" Like if he knew I was about to compete, you know. And you know, he's something special to me, you know. And
that's good, man.
And I hope to have more kids in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously,
absolutely.
Right now, he's my little pride and joy.
It's funny you say that, because I always call Richie my pride and joy, and he's the one that's going to have your back, Jose. He's the one that's going to come to you and say, "Look, this is what needs to happen." And he's the one who's going to have better judgment than you sometimes. He's the one who's going to give you the advice that nobody else wants to give you. And he's the one that's going to console you when you're at your lowest point. Because no matter how much you try to hide it, he's going to recognize it. He's just going to feel it.
Right. No. And I believe it. I believe it because that's how I was with my dad in a way. Yeah. You know, I was 9 years old, 10 years old. And I used to look at my dad and I used to tell him, "Hey, Dad, why are you doing this?" You know. Yeah. And you know, he would better himself, you know. Good. He would talk to my mom, and he would probably come to my mom and be like, guess what, you can't believe what Jose just told me, being so young. Yeah. And then my mom would just kind of go, you know, he's right, you know, and he'll better himself, you know. And I won't go into technical, you know, sure. As I want to emphasize on exactly what I would tell him, but yeah, you know, I would tell him. I was young, and I was just kind of, you know, tell him certain things. But he was always there. Like I said, my dad, he was second to none. You know, I wish I could be 1/5 of the dad that he was to me. You know,
Yeah.
he gave me a great example of how to be a good father. He gave me the best example he could have gave me, and like I said, now me being a father, I understand
Exactly.
all the spankings. I understand
exactly.
all the times he disciplined me, all the worries he had, you know, because now I have him.
Yeah.
And he's only 4 years old, and I have him, you know.
There it
Imagine
is
when
there.
imagine when he's a high schooler.
It's all that
you know?
wisdom, man. Exactly.
So, but yeah, you know, and I remember growing up, and I would, you know, I would tell my dad all the time, hey, Dad, one day you're not gonna have to work no more. You know, one day I'm gonna be the fighter for us. I'm gonna fight for you. I'm gonna fight for my mom. I'm gonna fight for my brothers and sisters, and I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna sacrifice a little bit. I might go through some hard times, but I'm gonna sacrifice that to give them a better life.
Yeah.
You know, and I haven't forgotten that. You know, and every time I do something bigger, I think it's because those promises that I gave my father.
How fulfilling is it for you?
Oh, it's an amazing feeling, you know. And for many things that I've done, Richard, that's why I'm a believer of God, because if I look back and see how I got it done, I won't be able to explain to you exactly how I got it done. I mean, it was just this energy force that came at me at the right time during that moment.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I pray. That's why I maintain myself humble. That's why I always say, if you look at my social media, it's all glory to God. You know.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather do the right thing to please Him,
Yes,
who has
absolutely.
gave me the positive energy,
Yep.
and who has given me everything I have, than to please the people that are judging, or to please people because it's what's trending.
Yeah.
You know, and because of what some of the people might consider it being cool. You know, I'm more focused on what really matters to me. I look after the big picture, not the little picture.
Exactly. I remember you said something that was very interesting to me. I never forgot it. And I asked you, I said, Jose, why this song? Because you were listening to some song when you were jogging. You said, because it talks about people who don't have. And I don't listen too much of the other music because they always talk about what they have.
Yeah.
And this particular song, I don't remember the name of it. You said it talks about, and it's about people who don't have much.
Yeah, so I listen to a lot of what's called corridos, and corridos is pretty much like a story behind someone.
Yeah.
Right. So some of these musical corridos are talking about people that started from nothing and became something,
Yeah.
you know, or are nothing and are going through something, or even a story of someone that could have made it, but because of certain circumstances they didn't.
Yeah.
You know. And when you listen to some of this rap music, you know, it's mainly people talking about what's cool, talking about what they have, talking about what they could do, talking about the women, talking about certain things, you know.
Yeah.
And it's people like it, you know. That's good, you know. And it's the beat sometimes is good, you know. People probably listen to it because of the beat.
I was about to say that. A
because
lot of times they don't pay attention to
the
the words.
lyrics. Yeah.
It's the beat, the
But
movement.
that's why I can't. I mean, I could dance to anything, brother. I consider myself a happy guy. You know.
No, I seen you dance. I was
so
there in
could-
Las Vegas.
so
I
could
saw you dance.
You know, I could dance.
Jose, I saw you. I
I
saw you dance in Las Vegas, and you know what? You were drinking coffee.
Yeah.
in your
yeah,
hand.
I had a coffee, and it was late at night, and but anyways,
And you were dancing.
I danced to anything.
Yeah.
You know, but I just
You're
can't.
a happy person.
But I just can't sit down and listen to certain
Yeah.
lyrics.
Yeah,
You know,
I hear
if I'm in my car driving somewhere, or I'm listening to certain music, I can't. You know, it's like I said, I don't want to throw nothing in people's faces. I don't
Right.
want to make people feel like they're lower than me. I want
Yeah.
to have a life that inspires people, not that might frustrate people or might make people feel somewhat depressed
Yeah.
because they might not have certain things that
Yeah.
I might have. And I think that's a huge problem with depression too, with, you know, so especially social media. People, they just throw it out there, man. And people need to know that, you know, and I'm sure they do know, but they know it, but they don't really put it inside their minds, you
Yeah.
know? And that's, people only post when they're happy. People only post their success. People only post their victories.
Yeah.
They don't post when they're going through bad times. They don't post when
No.
when they're being ignored. They don't post when you know they lost something. You know, they
Yeah.
only post when they're having a great time. So everybody's going through the same times, you know, hard times.
Exactly.
And as through the same adversity and different pathways. We all have different pathways, but I think I just don't want to see myself creating, creating that energy.
Yeah.
You know?
No, you've always talked about being positive. You always talked about and referred your career that you wanted to be positive, and you're in so deep now, whether you want to or not, you're going to make a difference. It's just embedded in you.
Listen,
that's
Richard,
your destiny.
You look at social media. Going back to social media, you're looking at people's success, and it goes based on how many followers. Sometimes to some people's eyes, how many followers they have. People have when you look at some of these accounts that have a huge amount of followers, is either because they are showing off cars, money, houses, and that's good. That's working for them, And the more people followers they have, probably the more money they're making off that, of the videos they're posting or of their. That's the way their income sometimes through social media. When you look at someone being humble, that actually has it but doesn't show it, wears regular clothes, drives a regular car, but is giving. Their likes is the amount of likes they get. It's this much compared to, it's a very little likes compared to the people that are opposing of. Say, I seen a video where I forgot who it was. They were giving $100 bills to the families, right? Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Probably went to a classroom. Probably gave maybe $4,500 to $5,500 in cash to about 45 to 55 people and $100. They got thousands and thousands and thousands of likes. Then you see someone giving a check of $25,000. But it's a check. Yeah. You only probably got 176 likes, or 200. So that's people have that different mentality, man. They got to see some of this stuff. And again, I'd rather do what's right than what's trending, Well, I could easily go to the bank and get $100,000 and give out $100,000 in cash if that's going to make people feel more excited about it. Yeah. But, that's not who I am. That's not who I want to be.
Who are you? How would you describe yourself? Who are you?
I'm a guy from the rural communities in the San Joaquin Valley, the valley that provides 56% of what people eat in the United States. I come from a small rural community. I come from a family of 100% Mexican blood. I come from Michoacan. I come from my grandma's from Sinaloa, so we have some Sinaloa blood, but Michoacan blood. That's what we have. I have that blood. I have a family that we were always happy. Didn't need much. Like I said, my family they learned how to show a lot of love for me. Again, I'm telling you, going back to my mom and my dad, they were good parents. Yeah. We didn't have much. They tell me stories of how when Christmas came around, they were all excited to go buy. My dad would get a good check. They would save some money. Yeah. They were so excited to go to, to go shopping for Christmas gifts. And they were like, oh, we're going to buy, for this December, we're going to buy the kids, they would call us kids, a jacket each. Yeah. By the time they showed up, the jackets were too expensive, so they had to settle down with sweaters. Yeah. Right. So they had those little small choices. I mean, it's like imagine you going to the store and you're like, oh, you can't afford the jacket, so let's buy the sweater. And then
my mom would buy 100 pounds of beans. She'd go to Bridge Store, Madera, California. No, 100 pound of beans because it was on sale, and get the harina, and then there was certain things that she would buy and just make it last. Right. Because it was my mom. Her schedule was before she started working at Alberti Olives, she would work out in the fields and then go work in the nightclub, which was the bars at night. It was just her income coming in. But I didn't know all that growing up. Yeah. And then I started to realize, wow, Mama, when are you going to rest? Exactly. Or when are you going to stay home? I'd get dropped off at my soccer games, and I wanted to look and see where my mom was. I wanted to play the game, the best game that I could for my mom.
And that's when you understand, you really don't know, you really don't need all this materialistic stuff to be happy. Yeah. You've seen so many tragic stories of famous people that create suicide or
because they're not happy.
They're not happy. There's something missing, and I think it's love. That loyalty and love is. I mean, those
that warmth is you can't fake that warmth. It's soothing. It's warmth. It's love. It's real love. It's that blanket of protection.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I'll tell you a quick story. And I would always, on my break when I was working at Desmond, I would always say, hey, I'm going to the dollar store on my break. Anybody want anything? Right? Because it's only $1, right? And the principal goes, the dollar store, what's that? And my point is, yeah, exactly. I mean, we're happy we're going to the dollar store. We're getting what we need to get. And a principal who's never really had that struggle, and okay, they went to school, that's fine. Yeah. She said, what's that? What's the dollar store? And my whole
Family
point was
Dollar,
like,
man, it's all
yeah,
over the place now.
exactly. Well, I mean, she
And
didn't
it's
know
not-
because
yeah,
she
yeah.
never went there. She probably went to,
Yeah.
I don't know, Samar all the time. And I don't got no problem with that. But we knew the struggle, and we knew how to share a bag of chips and soda and
Most
Kool-Aid
definitely.
and
You
that
know,
old school
and,
stuff.
and talking, going back to how your mom used to get those bags of beans.
Yeah.
That's how the real communities are, bro. And
Yeah.
and like when I was growing up, my uncles from Michoacan, they were all, we would all share one apartment, 2-bedroom apartment, and they would come and work. So some work in the same job, some work in different jobs, but they used to all bring a bag of whatever they would say. If they were harvesting tomatoes, or bring
Yeah.
bags of tomatoes. If they
Okay.
were harvesting a different crop, they would bring a bag of that. So there was always food on the table. I can tell you that much. There was always food, and so and I know how important these jobs are. That's why I fight so
Yeah.
hard for these jobs. But as you know, as food, there was always food, and my mom used to make. To this day, there's 6, 7 of us.
Yeah.
She'll make a pot of soup, of menudo, of pozole, of beans, like if she's feeding the whole block, you know.
Well, that's what's up,
And
man.
there's always
What's the
there's
address
always
over
food.
there?
It's 417 Monterey Street.
There you go, man. Hey, she make tortillas?
She makes the homemade tortillas. Homemade tortillas. Yeah.
But, okay, my sister Sylvia.
If you live in Avenel, you know where my mom lives.
Oh, you
I'm telling
smell it. You walk by and you smell the tortillas, huh?
Yeah, and because they know that's what Avenel's not. It's so small.
Oh, okay.
It's not hard to find my mom's house in Avenel. So.
Well, that's good, Jose. I'm glad you opened up here for the fans.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Like this show is just not for boxing. Hey, how'd you feel in the ring? Taking that right hand. It's real life. It's real conversation. You loosen up, and my job is to get you as comfortable as you can. I don't look at the clock.
It was a pleasure.
I don't have an agenda. These little notes I was just walking by because I was just writing them down after you told me something that stuck in my head. Because afterwards I like to do a recap, and I like to have some mental notes with different people, different fighters, and different quotes that I do remember. And I hope I left you with something.
No, definitely. It was, I'm every time I talk about, some of my stories,
Yeah.
some of the flashbacks that I can remember, it's another reminder, So when I go home, I might give my parents a call and be like, hey, I was in this interview and I was talking about this, and
okay.
And then we start reminiscing on everything, and just going back and that's one thing that I always pray, and I said it before. I always pray to maintain myself the same guy, to keep my feet in the ground and to continue fighting for what I fight for, and that's for the people and for a better family, for a better life for my family. I really want the whole family to one day not have to worry about financial problems, or I want them to have more than what they had,
Yeah.
And with more money, sometimes more responsibility, of course, there's some good and bad things that come with it.
But you're doing everything. You have everything lined up.
But I do. So, most people might, they go to some of the comments, when I posted about the car, they're like, oh, they save your money. But most people, I've been saving my money.
Yeah.
And let me tell you this. My interest on my principal pays for all my mortgages and my car. I'll tell you that much.
That's great.
That's and my career just getting started, So I done it the best. I done it the best way I could. And that's because I never needed much more. So I don't buy chains.
I still like that blue Dodge you got though.
Oh, it's a beautiful car.
Yeah, that's a Dodger blue right there.
Yeah, that's my LA car. So that's one that I take to LA when I leave the camps.
Heck yeah.
It runs well. It runs good. It's fast enough. I mean,
absolutely.
There's a speed limit for a reason, right? So,
yeah, exactly.
It runs fast enough, and I just got an oil change done, new tires. So I'm about to go to camp with a brand new Dodge, and it's a 2015. But honestly, it probably has like 6,000 miles on it.
Oh, that was a nice ride, man. I remember seeing it at your apartment.
Yeah, so that's the one I drive in LA, and I have my pickup that I drive in town, my Ram, my Dodge Ram.
No, you're doing it, man. You're making it happen. There was one other thing I was going to touch on. I'm kind of forgetting as a time, but I did want to. Oh yes. Your dad is a very warm person, very nice guy.
Very nice.
And for the longest, he'd talk to me, and then I would just kind of say as much as I could. But he started talking paragraphs and sentences, and it wasn't until last time I told Luis, I go, Luis, can you let your dad know I don't know fluent Spanish? But no, I did say, I asked your brother if he can help me in Spanish because I want to at least do one segment or one interview in Spanish. I do. I mean, that's my people. That's my language.
Well,
I was robbed of that because I had nobody to teach me that when my dad left.
My-
I
my
picked up
brother
as
got a
much
minor-
as I could.
My
though.
brother got a minor in Spanish at Fresno State University, so he's the
Okay.
man to teach you Spanish. You
And
know,
there it is there.
I haven't been in. I haven't been in school for a while, but I did start a scholarship foundation for the Fresno State.
Good.
For the Avenel kids, when they
Good.
graduate, they could get some type of help. You know, so I do have a scholarship.
Jose, growing
I
up,
give away.
people thought, the Mexicanos, they thought that I was faking it, that I knew Spanish and didn't want to speak it.
Oh, yeah.
If I knew Spanish right now, I'd be a millionaire right now with
No,
you.
listen,
I'd be driving
us
right next to
Mexicans,
you.
We're a little sensitive. We are a little sensitive.
I'm trying to, man. I am trying, and
You know, we
sometimes
gotta make sure all people don't forget that.
No, man.
But it happens. You know, it happens. You gotta learn the language when they're little. So
Yeah.
sometimes you know it's the parents to.
And I remember
do
you,
that
you
job,
did
yeah.
some interviews. Didn't mean to cut you off. And then you started saying something in Spanish. That was for you, Richard.
Yeah.
And I never had a chance to. What did you mean by that? I'm just glad that you did end it in Spanish. You remember we did it, and when Bob Aaron was passing by, Freddie Roach was passing by, and we kept that content. You're telling him bye, and then you came back to the interview and you said, sorry about that. I go, no, don't worry about it. I said, keep rolling. At the very end, you thanked everybody in Spanish. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
later on, you did another interview with me, and then you ended it in Spanish too.
You know, I think since the viewers, you know.
Yes,
the
exactly,
Viewers, we
exactly.
gotta definitely hit both demographics. I mean, la gente mexicanas, man, son fanáticos del boxeo. They're big fans of boxing. They love it. They respect it. I was just in Cancun for the 57th annual convention.
I
telling
saw
you,
that, man. My
Richard,
gosh.
I'm telling you, Richard,
that is awesome.
Mexican people are into the sport of boxing. Like it hasn't been a. It's been a while since since the Mexicans, you know, the whole city of Mexico.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna tell you this: the fans in Mexico, the Mexican fans in Mexico, are different than the Mexican American
Oh,
fans.
absolutely.
So los Hispanos, los Latinos, the first generation,
Yeah.
you know, they the ones that consider themselves Mexicans here,
Yeah.
over there, it's you know, their way of being is different.
Yeah.
And so when I was at the 57th annual, the respect that they gave me and
Yeah.
they gave the other fighters, I mean, they're so hyped about boxing right now. So we gotta make sure that if they're listening,
Yeah.
you know, they could be a part of it too. That's why we
Exactly.
gotta. That's why we gotta give a quick, always a shout out in Spanish and remind them how.
Absolutely. Actually,
Blessed we are
I
to
went
have them.
and I talked to your brother and I said, hey, man, I want to bring you on once a month, at least to hit some Spanish or as a
There you go.
co-host, at least something. I mean, because, I mentioned it to him. And he's probably afraid
Yeah.
to or something, thinking, no, I don't want that responsibility. But yeah, no, definitely. I'm going to do my best at that.
You know, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
you know, it's I think
Anything's possible, man.
you know, I think the I don't mean to throw no one under the bus, but I do say what I feel.
Well,
you
that's
know?
good. And this is the platform to do so.
So I think the Caucasians
Yeah.
are the only ones that only know one language. For the majority of them.
Yeah.
They only know one language, and that's English. You go to Europe, Spanish, English, French, Italian, Portuguese, and you go to restaurants and so I was in Paris. You go to restaurants in Paris,
Yeah.
and well, at least in the hotel I was staying at,
Yeah.
the servers, they had a bunch of little flags, and I told them, why you have all those little flags? Oh, that's to let them know all the languages I speak.
Oh my
And he
gosh.
was a regular waiter.
Oh my
regular taking
gosh.
orders. I'm like, a guy
You know
like
how valuable you are?
yeah, exactly. A guy like you in America will get an amazing job.
Exactly.
You know, and you know that's how it is. And so I'm
It
always, you know, when it comes to people who are bilingual,
Yeah,
you
use
know,
it, man.
Oh, use it. Definitely
Use it. Like I said, I joked around. If I knew Spanish,
I'm not
I'd be a
embarrassed
millionaire.
Speaking Spanish, man. I love.
Well,
to talk
I would
Spanish.
always get that from my friends. I just didn't know it. My friend Anthony Creed, and I'll put him on blast. He goes, "No, you're just faking." I said, "Bro, I wish I did. I wish I freaking knew."
Yeah.
I'm like that guy that'll probably take Spanish in school and get a C or something. But
I was just when I was in Cancun, I went to
Yeah.
Tulum for the pyramid to see the pyramid, the pyramids.
right,
You see these Mexicans, and we took a guide, and I took the guide in Spanish.
Yeah.
Because I wanted the guide to really go all out with
Yeah.
the history on the Mayas. And I think I don't want him to be missing some diction of words in English.
Yeah.
So I want to take the Spanish guide. So
Right.
I took the guy that was going to tell us in Spanish the whole thing. But as we were walking by, there was other groups, and you see the same, you know, guys from Quintana Roo,
yeah,
and they're dark, short.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they look more Oaxacans than the people
Yeah.
in Oaxaca. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that much. People
Yeah.
in Quintana Roo, most people think Oaxacas are the smallest ones and
Yeah.
the darkest. No, The one in Quintana, people in Quintana Roo, they're a little bit more darker skinned.
Yeah.
But they were guiding people in Swiss. They were talking in
Oh, my
Portuguese. They were
gosh.
talking in English. They were talking and they were guiding in Russian. They were Russians, Asians, and you hear it, and I was so impressed.
My
And
gosh.
so shout out to my people in Mexico, man. I mean,
Hey,
la
man,
neta
they're
mexicano,
ready to
bro.
change the world.
Listen, I'm telling you, people, Mexico has some great potential. We just gotta, the government just has to work a little bit better with them.
Exactly, and that's a whole nother segment. Before I let you go, I do want to say one thing. When kids would get in trouble, kind of a ricochet there. When kids would get in trouble in school, I would always tell them, and I would say, wait, hold on a second. You're smarter than a teacher because you know 2 languages. I said, I don't even know the language. I said, I wish I did. I go, you know 2 languages, young man. And I would always tell them that. I always encourage them, man. And no, I mean, I feel, before I take my last breath on this earth, I will speak in Spanish. I will do an interview in Spanish,
good,
man.
Richard.
I will. I mean, I met Julio Cesar Chavez, right, as a kid. And I couldn't even tell him how much I appreciated him. And he told my mom, make sure he knows Spanish. He told my mama that. When I tell my story, I didn't just wake up and want to do boxing or want to commentate boxing. It's way back.
Yeah.
So when I see these guys with 100K followers and 100, how many can say that they talked to Frankie Rando over the phone and he predicted he was going to beat Chavez? How many can say they talked to Don King on the phone? How many can say they were there when Mike Tyson got out and he offered them grapes? How many can say that their mama blessed Oscar De La Hoya, Julio Cesar Chavez, Jesse James Leha,
And we're gonna
all
continue
of
to
them.
we're gonna continue to bring boxing to the
Absolutely.
valley.
Let's do it. Let's keep it here.
And you're always welcome to our fights, to our events. You are part of our events, so you're always gonna be welcome. So there's many more positive and great moments to happen with all the great champions and the future world champions.
And absolutely, you're one of
Definitely.
them. Hey, appreciate you coming on. I
Thank
know
you,
we went
Richard.
kind of overboard, man, but when you're in deep conversation, I didn't want to stop you, man.
No,
I didn't want to stop you.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, what do you have to say to all the viewers and the fans that watch and support the unified super lightweight champion of the world?
Thank you for all the support. Don't miss on my fight. I'll be unified. I'll be defending my titles against Victor Postol February 1st in China on ESPN primetime. So it's coming up. I'll leave to camp soon, and after that we're going after the other titles after Josh Taylor.
There you
Thank
go.
you for all the support.
There you go. We may see you in December sometime if you're up there. I spoke to Robert and he was down there, and we're going to take the
you're always
podcast
welcome.
up there, and we're going to broadcast when we're up there.
Sounds good.
Hey, Rich Ortiz, the long-awaited, but it was very well worth the wait, class act inside and outside of the ring. You got to go in depth with Jose Ramirez. He got to share not just being inside the ropes, but being inside life. A little bit of him being a father, a little bit of him being a son, a little bit of him being a contender, but most of all, the champion that he is inside and outside of the ring, and the big goals of what's he going to do for the people, the community, and how he's going to give back by not just helping them out by appearances or financial, but by standing firm on the laws, standing firm on the government, taking on the president, taking on whoever he needs to take on like a true warrior, like a true fighter with the tenacity, the know-how, and the arithmetic when it comes to the numbers. The understanding when it comes to understanding and signing documentations and how to handle himself. And he's that true example because the way he's going, he's not going to be a statistic on another fighter that was a millionaire and lost all his funding. He's doing everything the right way, keeping it to himself, being humble, and most of all, he's fighting not just for himself and his family, he's fighting for you, the viewers and the fans. As always, Rich Ortiz here, the fighter's voice, the only voice that matters. We're simply knocking out the competition, and it's a wrap here. I'm getting a little tired. Thumbs up for Richie.
Okay, fight fans, it's not goodbye, but until next week.
Remember.
It's always voiceography at its finest. So on behalf of Richard Ortiz, Cole Escovedo, the special guests, and all the crew right here at the Kick-Ass Podcast, saying hasta luego, babies. And always, thanks for listening.